Today I want to share 17 qualities of a good husband with you, because you deserve to know if the guy that you either have a crush on and you didn't start dating him yet, or the guy that you're already dating is husband material. Because the last thing I want is that you marry a man who is not husband material. Unfortunately, a lot of the women who asked me for help in Skype coaching sessions made exactly this mistake. When I then analyzed their situation, we sometimes come to the conclusion that, hey, your husband doesn't fulfill any of the criteria. He doesn't have any of the qualities that a good husband has. And if you end up in this situation, then you're really screwed. Sorry to be so honest, but that's the truth. Then you're screwed. I mean, yes, you can still get out of it, but that's a long way and it can be very painful. So it's way better to know before you get married if this guy is worth it. And he's worth it if, and that's the first quality that I want to share with you, and the most important quality, if he wants to be your husband. And now you might be saying, yeah, I mean, of course he should want to be my husband. Not so fast. This might sound very weird and, again, very politically incorrect, but it's the truth from a lot of my Skype coaching sessions. I know that a lot of women tend to fall in love with players, and then they want to turn these players into husbands. I promise you that turning a player into a husband is very, very difficult. Yes, it is possible. It's not impossible. And if you decide to click on the link in the description and to find out more about the one program that allowed 7 of my incredible coaching clients to attract amazing men, then it is in fact possible. But why do you have to make it so hard for yourself? If you try to focus on men who do not want to be husbands and you want to turn them into a husband, you will have a hard time. But if you focus on men who actually want to be husbands, and there are a lot of men out there who want to commit to a woman, you just have to find them and you then have to communicate that you look for the same thing, and then you're a match made in heaven. And a good husband is willing to admit when he is wrong, because otherwise you're just fighting all the time. If he always wants to be right and if he always wants you to apologize for something, and this is something that I experienced firsthand with somebody who I once worked for, who always made his girlfriend apologize for everything that he did wrong. And it was a really weird and toxic dynamic. And if you're dating a guy who does that, be warned, this will be one hell of a relationship, and I don't mean it in a good way. I mean it in a really, really bad way, because then it will turn your relationship into a living hell. If he always wants to be right, he never admits when he's wrong, even though he makes mistakes. And everybody makes mistakes. I mean, you make mistakes, I make mistakes, he makes mistakes. We are human beings, we are not perfect. But if we are not willing to accept and to admit when we are wrong, then we have a problem. And he is loyal even when the temptation is strong. If you are dating a high-value man, of course other women want to date him. If you're dating a man who, let's say, is really successful in business or very successful in his career, he's good looking, he's handsome, he's tall, of course other women want to be with him. But that doesn't mean that he will cheat on you. A man who's husband material, he experiences these temptations, but he won't act on these temptations. Even though a coworker might be flirting with him, he will tell this coworker, look, I really love my wife, I appreciate the compliments, but I don't want to go there. And this is something that you should look out for when it comes to the qualities of a husband. And he has the same vision when it comes to your family planning. In my opinion, 2 are already family. If you want to have children, you should look for a man who also wants to have children. And if you don't want to have children, you should look for a man who also doesn't want to have children. This is one of the most prominent reasons why couples break up and why marriages don't work out. Because one partner says, for example, I don't want to have children. And then the other partner says, yeah, I mean, okay, because I love you so much. But deep down they think, haha, she will change her mind, yeah, she will change her mind and we will have a family. This is something you should communicate from the get-go. And this is also something that you shouldn't just say like, oh yeah, maybe someday, let's see. When it comes to family planning, you should both be on the same page, 100%. Otherwise, this won't work out. And he doesn't drink too much alcohol. One of the sad things is that men are more, let's say, more likely to develop alcoholism, to abuse alcohol, and to then also as a result engage in abusive behavior. I, for example, I don't drink any alcohol. I can't stand being around people who drink, but I don't want you to be as extreme as I am. Maybe you like to have 1 or 2 drinks every night, or every now and then, or every weekend, or every month. That's totally okay. But just make sure that you screen guys early on when it comes to drinking behavior. If you, for example, are on a date with a guy and it's 4 p.m. and he drinks 2 beers till 6 p.m., that's not a good sign. And he wants to look his best for you. If your husband still makes an effort, or now that he's your boyfriend and you want him to be your husband, if he makes an effort, if he styles himself, you can say, or grooms himself, if he has a style, actually, he doesn't walk around like the stereotypical husband with beige pants. I mean, I once told my girlfriend, if you ever see me wearing beige pants, you can throw me out of the window, because that's the last thing that I would do. And if he also takes care of his body, if he eats right, if he works out, and this is something that unfortunately happens to a lot of couples, and it happens to men and women. There's been several studies that prove that as soon as people, and yes, I really mean people, both men and women, end up in relationships, they gain weight. Why? I mean, this is insane if you think about it. If you are in a relationship, don't you want to look your best for your partner? And you should expect the same from him. Oh, then you will be all over each other all the time, and you will have a fun and a very healthy relationship. And he either has the same religious or spiritual beliefs as you, or at least he supports your beliefs. You don't necessarily need to have the same beliefs, but he should be supportive. I, for example, and that might sound crazy to you, but I believe in the law of attraction. I'm a very, very spiritual person. And I could never be in a relationship with somebody who looks at me and says, you're spiritual, law of attraction, come on, what type of BS is that? Are you kidding me? And the same is true if you are, for example, very religious, and you're then in a relationship with a guy who makes fun of your religion. That won't work out. And he understands that no relationship and no partner is perfect. Yes, he accepts your flaws, and yes, he doesn't believe that his girlfriend or his wife has to be perfect. Because, well, perfection doesn't exist. Human beings are perfectly imperfect, and he knows that. That's a quality of a good husband. And he cares about your satisfaction. And by satisfaction, I mean, of course, your satisfaction in the bedroom. You don't want to marry a guy who goes on top of you and says, woo, woo, 1, 2, 3, boom, pump, pump, I'm done. And then he goes to bed and goes, that's not what you want. You want to have a fun and incredibly fulfilling relationship. And yes, the bedroom fun is one part of a fulfilling relationship. So he has to be good at it. And he should also care about your emotional satisfaction. He should care about both aspects, and then you can have a fun and amazing relationship with him. And the guy you want to marry is emotionally available. Marrying a stone is a very bad idea. If you want to start a relationship, or let's say you start a marriage with a man who can't express his emotions, who has so much trauma that he suppresses and that he never allows himself to experience these emotions, first of all, your communication will suffer because he won't be able to express his emotions. And second, which is even more important, these type of men, and I know this from my own experience because I've once been this type of man, these type of men have emotional trauma, which is not bad necessarily, but they have to work on it. And if they don't work on it, then they will carry these traumatic experiences, these traumatic memories in the relationship and act out of trauma. And this will then sabotage the relationship. Like I said, I know this from my own experience. I've been through a lot of trauma work in the past. I worked on myself, and this allowed me to have the fulfilling relationship that I have with my girlfriend right now. If I would have met my girlfriend, and she knows that, I told her that, if I would have met my girlfriend 5 years ago, I was in a position where I wouldn't have been able to allow myself to experience a fulfilling, loving relationship without drama. And that's why it's important that you are looking for a guy who's emotionally available. And he encourages you to follow your dreams instead of stopping you from following. Unfortunately, a lot of guys, oh no, I shouldn't say a lot, some guys, let's say it like this, some guys try to prevent you from following your dreams. They just want an obedient wife who's at home, and they are control freaks, and they want to control a woman. And these are the type of guys that you should stay away from. The type of guys who encourage you to follow your dreams. These are the guys who are husband material. And he is empathic. This is important if you want to raise a family with him, because, I mean, hey, if your kid hits his head on the wall and goes, "Mommy, mommy, I'm bleeding," and your husband says, "I don't care," then you have a huge problem. But it's also important if you don't want to have kids, if you are in a relationship, you want somebody who really, truly cares about you and who treats you like a gentleman. If you are with a man who's kind, who's respectful, who cares about you, you will be so much happier than if you're in a relationship with a guy who treats you in the most disrespectful way. And you never want to be in the situation where you are trapped in a marriage with a man who doesn't respect you. And he doesn't just pretend to listen to you, he really listens. Yes, he cares about your opinion, he cares about your ideas. And I know that these men are rare. Men who have these qualities are rare, and that's why it's so important that you click on the link in the description and that you find out everything about this incredible program. And I really mean it. I really 100% believe in this program that allows you to make any man obsessed with you. Yes, even the guy who fulfills all these criteria and who has all these qualities. And what if the guy you're dating and the guy you want to marry is lazy? He has no ambition, no goals in life. My honest opinion, I wouldn't marry him. You want to marry a guy who's ambitious, who has high goals, who wants to achieve something. Otherwise, you will just be frustrated. You will be married 5 years to him and he will sit on the couch. He will get fat, he will get lazy, or no, he won't get lazy, he's already lazy, and he just watches TV and eats potato chips, and you will resent him and you will regret your decision. So make sure that you marry an ambitious guy and make sure that he sees you and himself as a team. You achieve things as a team, you overcome problems as a team, you celebrate each other's success as a team. That's what a good husband does, and that's the basis for a happy and healthy relationship and a wonderful marriage. And like I said, if you want to have the power to attract such a man or to make such a man obsessed with you, then I can highly recommend that you click on the link in the description or go to gethimkeephim.com/obsession. And you can of course also work with me, let me know about what you want to work on, what you want to achieve, who you want to attract, and then you can click on the second link in the description and inquire for a Skype coaching session with me. And if you enjoyed watching this video, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Share your opinion, share your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. And I would love it even more if you would hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I release a new video for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.